The male prisoners in this place are incredibly fortunate. They are assigned beautiful women to share their cells, and they enjoy world-class cuisine, including a $10,000 four-layer Black Forest cake. There are no strict guards or heavy iron doors. The inmates can move their hands and feet freely, totally unrestricted. They feast on giant Australian lobsters the size of a wash basin. All this food is served on a 7 feet wide floating platform for 666 inmates to scramble over. The prison is built like a towering skyscraper with 333 floors. Each floor only holds 2 inmates, and there's no sky above or solid ground below, just an endless abyss. The food stays on each floor for only 5 minutes. If some inmates don't fill up, they might just spit or relieve themselves, and those below have to make do with whatever drops down. Otherwise, they starve. Inmates below the 100th floor can't even see any leftover food. They just let their animal instincts take over, slowly eating away at each other's survival. And this is the sequel to The Platform, even more intense and gripping. Have you ever seen a prison with 666 inmates where they can only eat 1 meal a day? To survive here, inmates must follow 2 crucial rules. No food storage. Never steal someone else's food. Break these rules, and your life is in danger. Before entering, each inmate has to submit a food list and can only eat what they reported. Right now, we have a pair of cellmates Zamiatin and Sahabat on the 24th floor. The food in front of them has already been picked over by 46 people, and the strong smell of saliva fills the air. Zamiatin is starving and doesn't care about the taste anymore. He signed up for pizza, but when it finally arrives, half of it is already gone. There's nothing but a thin crust left. He hears from inmates above that the guys on the 21st floor ate his pizza. Zamiatin is furious. You dare touch my pizza? Fine, I'll go for a chicken leg. No one's gonna take advantage of me. The inmates above quickly tell him to knock it off. That's not fair. You know the rules about not eating others' food. Zamiatin can't believe it. My pizza got eaten, so that's okay. But I can't eat someone else's. Come on. The guys above start lecturing him about survival. If you take someone else's food, how will they survive? Zamiatin thinks they're crazy. They're in prison already. Why act like saints? The guy who ate his pizza faced no consequences, and now he just wants that chicken leg. What are you gonna do about it? He opens his mouth, ready to take a bite. In this prison, chicken legs are worth more than gold. Sahaba tosses Zamiatin a croquette. He sniffs it and finds the smell pretty tempting. Sahabat reminds him that inmates get shuffled between floors every month. If they end up on a lower level, they might find themselves with nothing to eat. So the guys above are right. Only by keeping an eye on each other can everyone get fed. Zamiatin finally sets aside the chicken leg and chooses to eat the croquette instead. But when the platform reaches the 44th floor, an alarm suddenly blares. The inmates above shout that the communication chain has broken at 44. That chain is crucial for passing along food updates. The inmates on the 44th floor broke the rules by not informing those below about the food situation. This means the guys on the lower levels might be facing starvation. If someone disrupts the rules, new ones have to be established. The next morning, when food arrives, the inmates above Zamiatin spring into action. They jump onto the platform and confront the inmates on the 21st floor, the ones who scarfed down his pizza the day before. Don't eat too much food or you'll die. Zamiatin can only peek through the gaps. The prisoners above are going at it hard with the bed frames, and the platform shakes violently beneath him. Prisoners on the 23rd floor start tearing apart their beds, warning Zamiatin to get ready to fight back. He's frozen in fear, unable to move. He might look tough, but inside, he's just a bundle of nerves. His pants are already getting wet. Sahabat reacts quickly, kicking off a bed leg and gripping it tightly like a weapon. The platform starts to lower, revealing a corpse lying in a sea of torn food. Curly Guy up top is wrestling with the food thief, and they both crash down onto the platform. Zamiatin looks up and sees a female prisoner kicking food down. Right now, the cells above have turned into a 122F steam room, and the temperature keeps rising. It turns out that when prisoners stash food, the heat spikes quickly, turning the place into a pressure cooker. In this prison, stashing food gets you grilled. The female prisoner is thrown down onto the platform by the force of the fire. Sahabat, worried about being caught in the chaos, quickly drops the bed frame and grabs a sheet to smother the flames. Zamiatin stands frozen in fear, nervously flipping the lighter in his hand. Before entering prison, each inmate was only allowed to bring one item. Meanwhile, Curly Guy seizes a bed frame and swings it hard at the thief. But just then, the platform starts to lower slowly. The food kicked down by the female prisoner has landed on the 24th floor, and a white mist fills the air. It turns out the price of hoarding food is either burning alive or freezing to death. Curly Guy urgently calls out to the others to throw the food down to the platform. Zamyatin remains frozen, unresponsive. Only Sahabat and Curly Guy frantically push the food overboard. Once the chaos subsides, Sahabat discovers that the female prisoner is dead. Curly Guy is roommates with her. He feels rage boiling inside him. In a fit of anger, he punches the thief a few times. Curly Guy tells Sahabat and Zamyatin he's going downstairs to find the enforcers and teach those food thieves a lesson. In this brutal 333-level prison, only one meal served each day. To make sure everyone gets food, a ruthless group of inmates rises to power, enforcing their own rules and punishing anyone who dares to steal food. Then, Curly Guy shoves the female inmate down, and she crashes hard. Once the platform reached the 333rd floor, it slips through a hidden passage to the dark basement. It's pitch black. The female inmate's body is quickly snatched away by a pack of wild beasts. On the third day of starvation, Zamyatin finally sinks his teeth into the long-awaited pizza. Before leaving, Curly Guy dumps the food of the inmate who met God yesterday into the toilet, ensuring that no one will turn on each other over scraps. After all, it's not the numbers that scare him, but the uneven distribution. Zamyatin is dumbfounded. "You're not feeding anyone else? Just hand it over to me." But after yesterday's chaos, he keeps his mouth shut. Curly Guy orders them to clean up the scraps daily while he's gone. Then he takes the food thief to find the enforcers. Never seen such greedy inmates. When the platform drops again, he quickly snatches a plate of sushi just before it hits the toilet and takes a bite. Zamyatin and Sahabat glance up and spot an old inmate staring at them, but Zamyatin's big frame blocks the view, so they escape unnoticed. Every day, they look for chances to sneak some leftover food. In just a few days, Zamyatin eats so much that he can barely keep up with the hair on his back. That's when Sahabat steps in to help. They work well together and start to build a bond. With the extra food and the chaos before, nobody else dares to steal for the entire month. By the end of the month, the bottom-level inmates bring good news. Food has finally reached the 175th floor. They leap for joy, thrilled to have evaded detection. But what goes up must come down. When they wake up, they find themselves on the 180th floor. This prison is co-ed, and the food is painfully scarce. An inmate mentions someone who once survived 25 days without food. Zamyatin regrets his past overindulgence as his stomach feels stretched to its limit. He's so hungry now that his vision blurs. He overhears upper-level inmates saying the communication chain broke at the 169th floor, indicating new food thieves have emerged above. Finally, the platform drops. When they look, it's filled with shards of glass and broken bowls. Not a trace of food waste remains. Zamyatin's anxiety deepens as he scratches marks on the wall. When he gets tired, he sits down, staring into the dark abyss, constantly fiddling with a lighter. Meanwhile, other inmates in their cells are praying to God for mercy, hoping for a way out of this hell. In desperate times, superstition becomes the only solace. But Zamyatin remains a realist. He watches the platform grow cleaner each day as his stomach empties further. His anxiety slowly consumes his sanity. In this vertical prison, with 333 levels, only one meal is served each day from the top down. By the time it reaches the 180th floor where Zamyatin is, it's already gone. He burns his palm with a lighter, trying to forget his hunger with pain, but it doesn't work. His body can't take it anymore. Suddenly, the head of a thief drops down, freaking him out. He wakes up in the middle of the night, flips open the lighter, and accidentally sets his blanket on fire. Sahabat hears the noise and wakes up to see Zamyatin engulfed in flames. He may look tough, but inside he's terrified. The fate of that thief looms over him, and he feels like he'll end up punished for stealing food too. He thinks maybe it's better to just end it all. Sahabat is heartbroken, desperate to save him, but her survival instinct kicks in. She can only watch helplessly. Meanwhile, other inmates cheer, finding joy in his suffering to fill their own emptiness. Eventually, Zamyatin sinks into the abyss. When Sahabat wakes up again, she discovers she's on the 51st floor. Her new roommate is Hook Girl, a woman with one arm. Before long, the food platform descends before them. Hook Girl snatches the fruit she ordered, only to find it's already been eaten. Below, inmates shout about food thieves on the 54th floor. Sahabat gazes at the food waste in her hands, remembering Zamyatin, anger rising inside her. She asks Hook Girl to team up with her and get revenge on the thieves. The prisoners start to riot. Sahabat tears apart the bed frame and jumps onto the platform. With each level it drops, she rallies the inmates to join her in the fight. When the platform reaches the 24th floor, a loud shout rings out before anyone can react. Big Beard charges in, drags one prisoner off the platform, and sends him straight to the hell. The brawl erupts as Big Beard targets anyone in sight, quickly taking down several male inmates. Suddenly, 3 women surround him, and he immediately raises his hands in surrender. But in the next second, Big Beard charges back onto the platform. Hook Girl leaps up and swings the bed frame, landing 3 solid hits. However, Big Beard is incredibly strong. He quickly overpowers her and grabs a shard of glass, ready to attack. In that crucial moment, Sahabat rushes in and knocks him down. An old man rushes in, climbs on top of Big Beard, and tries to choke him, but is thrown off instead. Sahabat quickly swings her weapon, and Big Beard goes down, unable to get back up. In this prison, anything goes. Big Beard looks remorseful, begging, "Please give me a chance to live. I've been here for a year and a half, and I'm just trying to survive. I haven't done anything wrong." Even though he's a lowlife, his plea reflects the reality for many inmates. Everyone looks out for themselves, but if that selfishness harms others, then he's at fault. In that moment, Sahabat feels a connection to him and can't bring herself to strike. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes as Big Beard rolls off the platform, slowly descending. Seeing this, Hook Girl shouts that she wants to go down too. Sahabat fears that Big Beard might retaliate and tries to stop her. Once Hook Girl calms down, she explains her reason. She's searching for a way to escape. She reveals that whenever they change floors, the guards use a drug to ensure no one notices. She believes the antidote lies somewhere in the abyss, but she doesn't know which level it's on. They have to keep moving downward. However, tomorrow often brings unexpected surprises, and that morning, just as they're getting ready to act, a male inmate gets caught stealing food by the enforcers. His limbs are tied beneath the platform, and he's about to face punishment from all the other prisoner. On the platform above, Sahabat and Hook Girl see the enforcer, Dagan Bobby, a blind man wrapped in bandages, surrounded by his henchmen. Dagan sends his goons to grab them and brings them to the lavish spread of food, insisting they enjoy it freely. He claims this is their reward for punishing Big Beard, but their aggressive demeanor clearly signals that this isn't about rewards. They are seized once more, facing punishment. To keep the communication chain intact, the enforcers prohibit prisoners from crossing more than 3 floors, otherwise the chain will break. In that moment, he unwraps the bandages, revealing 2 hollow, dark eye sockets. He warns them that if they break the rules, they will pay dearly. Hook Girl recalls how she once provided food to fellow inmates in front of Dagan, which cost her an arm. She knows he has no mercy for women. The next second, Sahabat's arm is tightly bound by ropes when the prisoner across from her yanks them hard. As the platform slowly descends, she suddenly loses one of her arms. Hook Girl's clothes are torn away, her limbs tied to the platform, ready to face punishment from the other inmates. In that instant, Sahabat collapses. When she wakes up again, she finds herself on the 72 end floor, her arm bandaged neatly. However, Hook Girl is nowhere to be seen. Instead, her new cellmate is a frail, white-haired old man. Outwardly, Sahabat seems calm, but inside, she's seething with rage. The enforcers punish the thieves, claiming it's for everyone's survival. But now, their power has become tyrannical, treating lives like weeds and distorting the original purpose of law enforcement. They wield absolute authority to shackle the inmates, turning into local tyrants. Where there is oppression, resistance is inevitable. Sahabat approaches the old man and asks what he brought when he entered the prison. The old man notices the swirling hatred in her eyes. He pulls out a dagger and hands it directly to Sahabat. As the platform descends, the old man begins to eat and drink without a care in the world. Sahabat steps onto the platform, urging him to join her in a desperate gamble for survival. After a moment of hesitation, he decides to go, thinking that at his age, if he can't enjoy his twilight years, there's no reason to hold back. Suddenly, Sahabat has a hallucination, seeing Zamayatine as if cheering her on. She immediately sobers up, observing the other inmates' attempts to rebel. She declares that if they want more food, they must first secure their freedom. In the following layers, everyone initially puts up a token resistance due to the enforcers' pressure, but ultimately, no one can resist the lure of freedom. After all, in the face of survival, cowardice is never an excuse. Even Big Beard throws in his lot with Sahabat. On the narrow 2x2 platform, inmates are crammed together. Suddenly, Sahabat steps off and spots a painting, a dog on the verge of drowning. She reaches out and feels the contours of the dog, slightly raised, before quickly hiding the painting on her person. Afterward, she joins the others in eating and drinking, crafting several makeshift weapons in hope of taking down Dagon the next day. However, they soon discover that Dagon has destroyed all the food on the upper levels, planning to wait until Sahabat and the others are weak from hunger before eliminating them all at once. Dagon's plan is working. Everyone is so hungry that they can barely keep their eyes open, and Sahabat's cheeks are sunken in, making it hard for her to speak. Soon, Dagon sends his men down, signaling the battle's beginning. No matter their strength, everyone fights with everything they've got. In the chaos, Big Beard grabs Sahabat by the throat, having noticed earlier that she took the painting. Though he doesn't understand her intentions, he senses that it must hold significant meaning. At this point, Sahabat is so emaciated from hunger that she can barely breathe, making it impossible to fight back against Big Beard. Just then, the old man quietly hands her his knife. She quickly takes it and uses it to take down Big Beard. Meanwhile, Dagon has been incapacitated, his legs broken. As the platform descends again, it carries most of the bodies down into the abyss, but Dagon still clings to life. Instead of ending his suffering, Sahabat deliberately lets his wounds fester and rot. Dagon angrily accuses her of taking away everyone's right to live, but Sahabat shows no remorse. Never underestimate the women in prison. Sahabat is locked up for killing her ex-boyfriend's son. Once a respected artist, the painting she carried in prison was her own work. But as the floors kept shifting, it got left behind. The paint contained a dangerous ingredient that could seriously harm the body, leading to the boy's tragic death. As an artist, she craved flawless love, refusing to accept any imperfections. This led her to make an extreme choice. Now, the freedom she seeks comes at a painful cost. Alone and bitter, she feels no regret, but struggles to find peace. In a desperate act, she decides to swallow the painting, hoping to atone for her past sins. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the prison's abyss, a group of children climbs eagerly. A small boy who reaches the top is brought up by two prisoners. Suddenly, Sahabat wakes to find herself bound among a pile of corpses. To her surprise, she realizes that the paint from her artwork has a miraculous ability to counteract the sedatives. A group of people in black, donning gas masks, hovers in the air, moving prisoners around. It appears that Sahabat has been declared dead and is being thrown into the abyss. Quickly breaking free from her restraints, she hides under a bed on the 333 Arda floor, where she unexpectedly spots the little boy who climbed to the top earlier. In that moment, Sahabat realizes that her happiness cannot be built on the suffering of others. She knows she must make amends for her past mistakes. After the guys in black leave, she tries to get closer to the little boy, but accidentally loses her balance and slams into the wall. Blood sprays into the air, cascading like droplets of water. Sahabat wonders if this place isn't Earth. With children present, she ponders if this prison pit is a site for experiments, perhaps taking them into outer space. Right now, her head is spinning as she holds the little boy tightly, running frantically through the prison, engulfed by droplets of blood. In a daze, she sees her ex-boyfriend handing her a knife, insisting she must repay for her son's life. Suddenly, Sahabat wakes up, realizing that what just happened was an illusion. Now she and the little boy are on a platform, heading straight down to the abyss below. Can the dead really come back to life? Sahabat is stunned to see the fallen prisoners slowly gathering around her, whispering that only the little boy has a chance to escape while her own journey has come to an end. In that instant, she understands that the painting she swallowed signifies the end of her life. Deep within, the little boy embodies her ex-boyfriend, representing the hopes she once held for the future. In this hazy moment, she feels as though her ex-boyfriend is walking toward her. Everything unfolding is a profound reflection of the dark forest theory. This prison pit resembles a merciless forest, where prisoners act as armed hunters, stealthily navigating the shadows. They tread carefully, fearful of making a sound, aware that other hunters lurk nearby. If they sense any signs of life, their only option is to swiftly eliminate the threat, as resources in this world are scarce, much like the meager food on the platform, barely enough for all the participants. To survive, the prisoners have no choice but to become hunters themselves, pushing others out of the game. Yet this unchecked freedom will inevitably erode their sanity, and boundless greed will plunge humanity into an irreversible abyss. That's a wrap for this film. This one is called The Platform 2. It's really good, so I recommend checking out the original. Alright, that's it for this episode. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.